The views expressed in this presentation are those of the hosts and guests and do not represent the views of any lodge, Grand Lodge, appended body, or any other person or persons whomsoever.
Brethren, we are at Refreshment.
I'm a cool guy, right? You know, we're cool. He's like, yeah. How weird.
I see just a bunch of old guys eating hashed over crock pot food. And
Well, you're just not high enough up in conspiracy.
Oh, yeah.
And the potentate is right where you are. And what does he do? He just starts laughing his ass off.
Welcome to the At Refreshment Masonic Video Podcast, your place for libations and Masonic mischief. I'm your host, Wesley Reuter, past master of Azure LaGrange Lodge, number 770, and I'll introduce you to everyone else. To my right, we got Brock.
what's up? Brock 303, Illuminati confirmed.
Dude, I swear to God.
I'm back at it.
Yoshi.
Hi, everybody. Villa Park Lodge, number 1113. Current Worshipful Master.
And the big man next to him.
Hi, my name is Marty. Hey, YouTube, I want to tell you something. We've been trying to record this intro forever. Wes cannot get it. I'm frustrated. The whole show is frustrated. Production has been put behind. But beyond that, I'm happy to see you.
Don't worry, you're going to like it.
That's such a conspiracy. That's bullshit.
So, conspiracy, he says.
Well, how else am I going to bring it into that? So, we do talk about a lot of conspiracies on the show. Some you may recognize, some you may not. So that's what the show is going to be about, conspiracy theories and Freemasonry. But
So we're
that
just basically
realm-
going to talk about wackadoos right now.
whacking,
Wackadoos, goofies.
I heard that really, really wrong.
You heard that
and
wrong?
I'm going to
YouTube,
leave
you
that
heard that
alone.
Hashtag whacking dudes.
Whacking
Oh.
off dudes. We're getting whacked off.
That's a conspiracy.
That's a conspiracy. That is a conspiracy. Straight conspiracy.
But this is Brock's realm because Brock is the esoteric guy on the show. Not that this is secret knowledge or
Well,
anything.
I was a
but-
conspiracy theorist before I was a Freemason.
And
so
yeah, that's right.
watch out.
So out of all the conspiracy...
No, go. No, please,
right.
please. I'm sorry.
Out of
Hit
all
it.
the conspiracy theories, what is the one that intrigues you the most?
Whew, there's so many, man. It's hard to pick out. I would probably have to say, though, that the Freemasons control the world, man. I mean, the biggest and best one there is.
Oh, I love
Yes,
that one.
we've all seen The Simpsons.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
Before we go any farther into our conspiracies, do we have any guests this week?
No.
No?
Wah, wah, wah.
Yes, we do. You want to introduce them because I forgot in which order we're supposed to introduce them. So, such a host I am.
We've not had a production meeting in a week, so it's really going to show.
It has been.
Brandon
Bring on the
Sears,
guest.
come on down.
Come on down.
Come on, Brandon.
Wait, who is this guy?
He said his name was Brandon. I thought it was Todd.
He was the Uber driver I took care of.
Oh, bro, the Uber driver. That's right.
Welcome.
Brandon,
How's it going?
Going good, man. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
you're welcome.
Absolutely. So what's your favorite Masonic conspiracy?
So many.
It's true. There are.
Exactly.
There are so many. It's
But it's hard to
ridiculous.
pick
It's the ones
the
you're
best
mostly
one.
involved with, right?
Don't tell anyone.
Exactly.
I mean,
the
you've
greatest
got
secret.
Freemasons control the world. You've got William Morgan affair. You've got, I don't know.
Well, Freemasons control the world is always the one that everybody starts at.
Where did
Oh,
that come
yeah.
from? Wait,
Like
what?
I want to know where that came from. But it's like most of the time we cannot get a pancake breakfast together or a spaghetti dinner together, right?
Oh, if-
okay.
yeah, if
Our
Like-
members can't read Latin, so how are we going to control the world?
Yeah, right.
I can tell you that there are some members of Freemasonry that can read Latin.
That's
a
awesome.
conspiracy.
I wish I could.
I can tell you that. So, being a
I don't think
conspiracy
they're on
theorist,
this show.
I'll bring it
No,
down.
no,
Oh,
we
here,
don't have
here.
scholars on this show.
This is where conspiracy theorists get the whole Freemasonry controls the world, because of you have a handful of presidents, a handful of people, different countries, and they're like, okay, there was a war, this guy was a Freemason, this guy was a Freemason, this guy was a Freemason. So therefore, those three guys who happen to join lodges in three different countries who have never sat in a meeting together are in a grand conspiracy called the Illuminati.
Is that how it happened?
You know,
Brandon?
I would partially agree with you. I mean, when you look at Washington and all of his top generals were Masons, but part of it was he knew he could trust them, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I mean, when you look at my lodge in Naperville and the first 50 years of the town of Naperville, the majority of the people on the board in Naperville were Masons, members of the lodge.
Yeah, Joseph Smith, or what's his name? Joseph Naperville?
Joseph Naper.
Yeah.
The guy who...
Yeah, I was like, his name couldn't be any more for the city. I was like, wait, what's his name?
He was still
Joseph,
a Freemason, but
yeah.
we're just talking
wrong
about the wrong guy.
Freemason.
But I mean, you even look at, like, you go to the Catholic Church, right? And, you know, they used to have the most land control of any organization in the world. And then all these revolutions happen, and for some reason, a lot of the people that were the heads of the revolution or really were involved with the revolution were all Masons. And then shortly thereafter, the Catholic Church is like, well, we don't like Masons, because they went from the largest controlling body to now they have Vatican City. But you look at that, and then a Mason also stopped the revolution from taking over Vatican City when it happened. So, I don't know.
And isn't there... Is Freemasonry banned from the Vatican now, or isn't there a lodge that does meet in the Vatican?
There's a lot of means.
What?
I think
I've never heard that.
This is conspiracy theory, you guys. I'm telling you guys. This is a conspiracy theory.
Illuminati
I've once
confirmed
heard.
right
Yeah,
there.
exactly. I think I've heard this.
Just so you know, this conspiracy started here at the
Right
Trail
here
Club.
today.
Look, I don't know about all that, but it's like, dude, I'm not gonna lie to you. I still live in fear of I'm gonna get a letter, and telling me that I'm excommunicated. Like, I still wait for that.
If you
sometimes.
ever get a letter getting excommunicated from the church, I'm gonna make you read it on a podcast.
Yeah, you probably would. Wow. But no, that's
That would be serious.
No, it would be, dude. That would shake me. That would. But like that's what it upsets me so much. It's like, dude, like all these we're talking about the conspiracies, all these people that talk so much, crap. It's like if you really knew and truly knew what it is, it's not bad. No. It's not bad at all. This is a great organization. This is a great thing. We're all about brotherly love and helping the community. We're all about making good men better. And it stinks that we have such
Well, all these things come
negativity.
in because people are afraid of what they do not know.
That's a broad
And
spectrum.
the thing is when you read, go on, right now, not our episodes are gaining that traction, but when you look at the documentaries on YouTube and Facebook and stuff, and everybody says,
hit
this,
the
that, and the
comments.
other,
The comment section.
I guarantee 99% of those people have never walked into a lodge just for a tour.
No.
And none of them have been members. But they all know more than everyone sitting here at this table.
I love that. I love being told about Freemasonry and what Freemasonry is about by a non-Freemason.
Well,
that is
actually,
always the greatest.
Yoshi,
That is
it's
just-
interesting that you mentioned that.
You got one calling out?
So a brother from my lodge, I'm not going to name his name, but I am going to put up a screenshot of this text message. Our producer David will.
Okay.
His cousin out of nowhere went all anti-Masonic on a thing, right? And he sent me these screenshots of these text messages, and it started super friendly enough. They're talking about a boathouse or something. And then out of nowhere, lodge brother from me and his lodge, his cousin writes him, and I'm going to read this verbatim. How much do you think I know about Freemasonry? How much do you think I know about the handshakes, the 33rd degrees, and the meaning behind the tile floor? Hold on.
this to me. Okay, no.
Do they make you denounce God and Jesus right away and worship Satan, or do you have to move up the ranks first? I'm not down with that shit at all. I'm a warrior of God. You know eternity is forever, right? That's a weird question to put in there. And the choices we make here on earth dictate our eternal lives. I know you eventually have to do some gay shit too.
Right.
I swear to God, it says all this.
It does.
I know you
remember-
eventually have to.
What a religious guy that you got to do some gay shit too.
No homo, but
No, hear me out,
Religious
hear me out.
reward of the year
I-
goes right
wait,
to
wait,
him.
wait.
Let's throw the
Let me
water
finish
on your
this
nipples.
comment.
Wait.
I know you eventually have to do some gay shit too, and that for sure is a one-way ticket to hell. I also want to point out he didn't use the right two. I saw your Facebook post and all the pics from Lodge and wanted to let you know that I know all about your little club, and if I were you, I'd quit that shit right now while you're ahead. Now he's texted this to me, and I me just being the troll I am, I wrote back. I'm like, when are we gonna do the gay shit? But it's so sad that this is what we really deal with in society, and it all comes from fear of what you don't know.
I rebutted somebody on Facebook. Man, he was giving everybody that was a Freemason a hard time on Facebook. And I just said, hey, I looked up your name on the internet. You know what came up? It said you're a child molester. So I believe you're a child molester now. What do you got to say about that? Well, I don't listen to child molesters. You just stop after that. So that's what all these people do. They go on the internet.
Wes is the ultimate troll. Dude. Man, that was brutal.
Dude, that was a master stroke. Dude. That was
Go on the
wonderful.
internet.
I heard that you were on Epstein's Island, man.
Oh my god, dude! I still can't believe that hasn't become a Masonic like.
what's the-
you know,
There's no Masons hanging out with that guy, man.
Yeah.
Well, I know, but
Trust me, I tried to go
But see,
down.
but that's the thing. That's the thing with it is because they just make up shit.
Yeah, you got to go to Voodoo Donuts now. And
Donuts.
we're talking
Brandon.
conspiracy
Well, I think part of it
theories
is
here.
there's no central like one figurehead, right? So no one speaks.
Are you saying of Masonry
Of
itself?
Masonry.
But that's
Yeah.
the thing.
So
Everybody
no
thinks
one's-
it's Albert
right.
Pike,
Yeah,
even though he's
but-
dead. He never was the head of Freemasonry.
But no one speaks for everyone, which
No.
is the greatest and worst thing of Masonry, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't have that one person that you can go to and be like, this is what we think, this is what we believe, because you've got, 50 different states in the United
Well,
States.
that's one
they're
of the
all sovereign
benefits.
organizations.
We don't have a United
Right.
States Grand Lodge, so
No.
it's not
Which
like
is-
there's somebody governing
Right.
all the states.
Which is great because we're all individuals and we can be who we want to be without one just, this is how it is, this is what you're doing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you're going to do it this way. And it's
Yeah.
like, no.
And people have a hard time fathoming that. What do you mean? There's not a Grand Lodge of the United States?
No.
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
There's a lot of churches, synagogues, and all these mosques and organizations that are the same, but they don't, talk to each other.
No, everything's a little bit
Everything's might be a little bit different over here than it is over there, but they still call themselves a people of this and a people of that. But they don't see eye to eye, and that's
Right. Which
what
is part of the
Freemasonry
reason
is
why
like.
we can't figure out if it's a spaghetti dinner or a pancake breakfast we're having this month.
No, it's very true.
And-
It's very true.
And even when they point out those ultra successful Masons, and I do believe in my heart of hearts that a lot of things you can learn to be a successful man, successful, American citizen, successful person, you do learn within the, Masonic allegories. But my lodge, for example, and I'm sure everyone here has a version of this, I could sit in an open lodge with a top-notch research doctor from Rush Copley, and I also sit next to a guy who always is looking for a ride home.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Yeah, for real.
It's very true. It's very
I don't
true.
know who you're talking about.
So I think the Freemasons become a scapegoat within the realm of world control because there's no
It's easy because we won't talk about what we know.
Yeah.
What do you
And-
know, Wes?
yeah,
Not
Wes,
much.
what do you know?
I don't know shit.
Yeah, exactly.
After
like
all my
everyone
years
thinks we
in this
do.
organization and living on the earth, I still don't know shit.
No, I'm
still
8 years-
figuring it out like everyone else.
I'm 8 years in, I don't got a clue.
Nope, not a clue.
I mean, the Templar gold is buried no.
I'm still trying to figure out what
Well,
I
yeah.
want to be when I
Oh
grow
yeah.
up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's really.
I mean, so the world one, I think we could all conclude is really based on the idea of fear of the unknown.
Well, they just know how many Masons there are, and it looks big. Yeah, like you're saying, the unknown thing, and you think they're all connected.
Yeah, you think it's powerful? You look at the unpaid dues list. And
Yeah.
You know, okay, look at. Just hear me out and follow me with this. It's a little wonky, but
So are you.
I am. All right. Anti-Masonic people, or however you want to call it, people who are anti-Masonic, in my opinion, is a form of racism
Yeah,
or bigotry.
absolutely.
Because
That's very
if you-
2019 of you,
It's,
Kyle.
It is. No. Listen. Well, those Freemasons, one of them did this, one of them did that.
Before
So
you
that
do
means
this-
they're all evil. Now take that sentence and change the word Freemason. Well, those white guys. Oh, those black guys. Oh, those Hispanic guys. One of them did this and it was bad. So all of them are evil.
Right.
Yeah.
If you say something like that and someone
group's
don't
got
know,
something.
Yeah.
everyone's gonna be like, "You're a bigot. You're a racist. How dare you say that?" But nobody cares because it's where they're attacking Freemasonry.
Yeah.
It's not a a race, but it's still in general it's still the same thing.
But it goes back
It's-
to
yeah.
it goes back to there is no one saying for everyone in Masonry like we're not going to rebuttal it. we're just gonna be like, well,
We're like, whatever.
that
But there
sucks.
are
We
some
hear it
bad
every day.
Masons out there, though.
Oh,
You
no,
know what I'm
look,
saying? Like,
look,
that
you
is another thing.
you
Like,
cannot have an organization
one
of
bad
thousands
apple
of
can't
men.
judge everybody.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you cannot have an organization of thousands of men,
Without
and we're
having a
all going to
couple
be like,
douchebags,
"Hey, how
yeah.
you doing?" You know,
I'm still gonna be like,
you know,
what?
hey,
you know what I'm trying to
We're
say.
gonna do the gay
Gosh,
stuff.
these guys.
Dude, right?
Brandon, what was that other conspiracy you were mentioning? Because I don't think I'm familiar with that one
So
at all.
you got the William Morgan affair, which
Yeah, I have no idea.
I'm coming
what
in blank on this.
Yeah.
So,
Get out of here, really?
well, hold on.
No,
Let him
wait,
go.
wait,
Let him go.
wait.
Yeah.
So-
No, you really haven't heard this. I'm just curious. I'm just surprised.
Let him
you've
go.
got the William Morgan affair, New York, and it's somewhat related to my lodge personally. Is
Really?
there's a guy that was loosely involved with it. So a lot of my guys from my lodge came from New York into Naperville.
Not to interrupt, but which lodge? So everybody.
Euclid Lodge number 65, Naperville, Illinois. Best lodge in the state.
Oh,
It's only the best lodge in the state when we're there.
Whoa.
But go ahead.
So what it was is
Who brought this guy on?
So there's a guy, William Morgan, who was a member of the lodge, or was starting to go through the lodge, and then he
did
eventually...
he fake it though? Was he fake?
No, he was a member of the lodge, and then they didn't really like him too much, and he ended up getting kicked out. And he's like, I'm going to tell everyone your secrets. And at this time, the Book of Ceremonials had already been written, and other things have been published about Masonic ritual and everything else.
Like
So
French exposés.
it's already
and stuff
been-
like that. Yeah.
published. So he's like, I'm going to tell everyone your secrets. And that this is also, third, fourth hand at this point. And he was like, I'm going to do this. And then he went to jail, and then he got bailed out. Then they put him in jail again.
Okay.
And then
I
Is
think
that guy
I
they
think
killed?
and
I
then
think
he disappears.
Well, they said that the judges, the lawyers, that everybody were Masons.
You
and
know
so
what?
He
I
didn't
did
get a
hear-
fair
okay,
trial.
I did
So
hear
I
about
know
that.
that.
I'm trying
I
to
know
look it
exactly
up on
what
the
you're talking
Idiot's
about.
Guide for Freemasonry, but
I know what you're talking about.
So then he disappears, never to be heard from again. And everyone's like, well, they killed him.
Yeah.
And it was like,
Well, there was rumors
See,
that
I
they gave
heard-
him like $500, and
Yeah.
were like, "Hey, go to Canada, never come back to the United States again."
See, but that's the thing is that there's so many stories. See, the way I heard that story is that the reason that they did actually kill him, and the reason why they did, it wasn't because of the whole secrets thing. He like took money from them or whatever, or like he did. It was a bad business deal, and he was about to walk with like money and leave all these guys without money, and they're like, "F you, dude."
but then once again, that's how conspiracy theories start,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. Nobody
all
really knows. Everyone just
miscommunication.
makes up
and
whatever
wasn't
the
it
heck
partly
it is.
because his wife said something too, or
I don't think I haven't heard any.
I mean,
yeah.
I've heard so many versions of it because I've heard it was
You're looking
the
at-
three guys that took him out. They were Freemasons because they were, the
Right. But you're looking at 1800s, and everyone's like, it's now what, almost 200 years later.
Yeah.
But I mean, didn't
And
that start
who knows?
a crazy?
Well, it started.
Yeah, that
outside
started.
of
Yeah, that started
Exactly.
the
the
anti-Masonic
first
movement.
third
Right.
party
Well,
in the
but
United
see,
States.
okay, here, and we see this
But
right
membership
now.
dwelled huge.
Yeah, but
Political party, I should say. The
Yeah.
first
Yeah,
third
okay, the
political party.
anti-Masonic party. Hypothetically, this guy, he disappears. He never seemed like a good guy, and because I do know who we're talking about now, I didn't know his name. Now, could that have been a story that got embellished by the anti-Masonic party?
Oh,
Just
sure.
like
Just
anything else.
propaganda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, this dude could have been off in
He has
Canada
never
doing
been
a million
found.
things.
Yeah.
Remains haven't been found. But
I think
back
he's
then,
buried in
it's
Oak
so
Island,
easy
man.
for somebody to change.
That is what's down there.
But back then, it's so easy for somebody to change their identity and move on.
He probably-
They
Yeah,
don't
back
have
then.
the-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Could it have happened? Could have there been some overzealous Freemasons like, okay, we got to take this guy out?
Yeah. But there's-
Absolutely.
Sure, why not?
There's always some truth to every.
Right. Exactly.
story,
And
right?
it's I can't find it in here, but
Well,
that's pretty much.
what's I got another one here, man. So that we move on from that one and talking about anti-Masons, the Leo Taxel hoax or whatever.
Oh, is that
so,
with the Baphomet and all that?
yeah, exactly.
Well,
the dude.
hold on, we're gonna have to come back to that. We're out of time here. We have to break before our cameras go dead. And,
I thought
is
it
that
was a
Mount
sponsor's
Vesuvius
break.
over there or something? Okay. Anyways, we'll be back right after this. And we're back. When we left, we were talking about conspiracy theories. Brock, you left off with a man named Leo Taxel.
Yes.
What's the shit with this guy?
Well, dude, this guy created a crazy hoax, man, that really tarnished Freemasonry for a while, and it really brought in the whole Baphomet, the Knights Templar, the sex parties, you know, the cool shit.
Sex parties?
Yeah,
we missed out on
man,
that.
I'm talking
Yeah, I know,
eyes
right?
wide-
We missed out on that. What?
Eyes wide shut shit, you know?
Gay sex.
Oh, it's just gay sex?
Yeah.
I don't know. Only maybe. I
that's
don't
kinda gay,
know.
then.
I haven't been there yet, but. So
Not that there's anything wrong with
I haven't
that.
seen this, but so this dude Leo, are we bringing anybody on?
Leo Taxel? You got him here?
I
Is
think
that guy
so.
dead?
We got another guest in the wings. What?
No, I know that.
That's not his name, but we can bring him on in. I think, right?
Yeah, we do have another guest for you. Chris Carter. Chris, come on in here.
Come on down.
Hey.
Before we get too far in here,
Hey, guys.
welcome.
Hello. What's up, companion?
Hello.
brother.
Thank you for joining us. Chris, introduce yourself, what lodge you from, and all that fun stuff.
Chris Carter from Lombard Lodge, number 1098, and also Keystone Chapter, number 281.
Perfect. Yep.
Cool.
Beautiful. Priest now, right?
Great.
Yeah, excellent high priest.
Just brand new.
Congratulations.
That happened about a month ago, so we just had our first meeting.
too.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Very nice.
Had our first meeting. We're all living, and happy to be here.
Yep.
Great.
You know, that was a great day. That was a
Yeah.
great day.
Have
We'll
you
talk
heard
about that
of,
another time.
have you heard of this conspiracy before? The Leo Taxel.
You know, the Baphomet,
Yeah.
The goat head fellow.
The Knights Templar used to worship.
Not really
and-
familiar. I was more familiar with the one from New York where he went missing. I was
Oh, yeah.
more familiar with that one.
Yeah, the Morgan affair.
But there's so many conspiracies out there; it's hard to keep track.
I don't think you can.
Well, okay, but to my knowledge, the goat-headed version of Baphomet really wasn't around to Leo Taxel.
Yes.
Okay, because the original one, the Baphomet, if you look at what the Knights Templar, who is still tied into Masonry, originally worshipped or had symbols of, was the more one that represented balance. And if you actually look at it, it has the moon, the sun. some
we'll
type
try and
of-
get it up for
We'll try to. Which more represented a lot of our ideals, same with the checker and mosaic.
Yeah.
We live for balance.
yin and yang.
Exactly. Because we all live light and dark. That's the whole journey we're on. But then when Leo Taxel came out, he put all this... It's not satanic imagery to me. It's standard pagan imagery.
Yeah.
But to the layman, it's terrifying stuff.
But I mean, he stole
No,
that.
I don't think it's
that
wrong.
symbol is stolen from
Well, okay.
LFS Levy, though,
But
the
then
French
this-
occultist. So,
Yeah.
and he stole that from when he was writing his book that Pike took reference from for Morals and Dogma. In this book, he
right.
stole this description of what he had sketched up. Was a description in an old, like Oriental magical text that he was referencing with a lot of his stuff that he used to write that book. And that's like one of the first, not necessarily one of the first, but it's one of the first descriptions of that style of the Baphomet.
Right.
And then you get into the satanic 1966 Anton LaVey goat head Baphomet off the Goat of Mendes, and then
Alexander Crowley.
yeah. You get into all that stuff and the Baphomet of Crowley and all that kind of stuff. But that's not the Freemasonry Knights Templar. But there's also the other stuff that when the Templars were being prosecuted by the church, that a few of them, a handful of them, I can't even remember. It's like 3 to 7 or something. Those were supposedly the higher ranking Templars who claimed that, yes, we did worship a Baphomet, and this Baphomet was like a severed head of whatever this, or it was a skull with two faces.
But
or
wasn't that after like the torture that happened to them? To make them sign the confession?
Exactly.
Because the king and the pope at the time didn't want to pay the Templars money.
Well, now they're starting
Have you seen the show on History Channel?
I want to watch it. I do, but I
But he
have not
has to
seen it.
pay for cable first.
I have to pay for the cable first.
But now they're saying that the Baphomet is kind of like a takeoff on Mohammed. It kind of like a slang word for him that they they use to
Yeah, the
ridicule
baptism
you.
of
That's
wisdom.
a new theory.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that's
It's
exactly
Greek for
true, but-
baptized in wisdom. That's
Yeah.
what Baphomet truly
Or
breaks down to.
Sophia, whatever the whole deal is.
Look,
wasn't
the Baphomet. The reason why Baphomet has such a bad name is because of people like Crowley and LaVey and all these hot topic Satanists.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm so edgy, man. Yeah, you know.
Oh,
like,
hold on. Can I do the
God.
thing where I address the audience?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
go
please
ahead.
do. Check it out. Here's the thing. Let me tell you about Luciferianism. It's more self-worship and egotistical. If you go to the mall and you see some kid in a Slipknot shirt, he is not a true Satanist. Everything you've been told about Satanism is fake. All right, carry on.
And that is the Marty moment.
It's true though. Oh God, these kids drive me nuts. All these people like, yeah, I'm so edgy, man. Look at me. I got an upside down cross on my shirt. And,
But the guy that made the image that we know as Baphomet, didn't he just completely just put it together and have absolutely no
barely
idea
knew
about
what it was.
Freemasonry?
So he
Yeah,
came out,
exactly.
He came out and said, like, I made it all up. And
Yeah.
then he died.
Absolutely.
Well, it was really
But a little
technically,
more-
it
and then
was
he died?
tabloid.
And he-
it was
is.
an early tabloid.
That's
It was
conspiracy
like-
right there.
Yeah,
Implied.
exactly.
Oh my
published
God.
the book. He publishes his book, and then like 10 months later, the guy just dies.
But I can't
Which,
remember
I
the
mean,
girl.
Illuminati
Well,
confirmed on that one.
Yeah, because,
What?
you know, DC is 10, 10, 10, so yeah.
But,
Oh,
but
God.
Yes, I
what year was
completely
that? It was the 18 something, right?
Yeah, definitely.
1870s,
You could get the
1890s, somewhere
sniffles
there.
and die of polio.
Yeah.
Anyone dying back then is not a conspiracy.
People were dying of syphilis more than they were dying of polio.
Well, I think
They were throwing anvils off buildings. I've seen Looney Tunes.
But then, and laudanum was like the cure of everything. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, yeah, I think the biggest thing about his hoax is that he came up with these series of stories that a lady had come out and supposedly she was some part of the church or something like that, and he had a discrepancy with the Pope and all this, so he was out to like wreak up a bunch of drama, and so he pretty much said that these Freemasons are into all this crazy satanic sex parties with all of these women of the night in France and all this tons of crazy stuff that was going on at the time. And
Ladies of the night in France.
yeah,
somebody just sent me some porn. I'm sorry, I had to check it.
ladies of the night.
How did you know? You sent it?
I mean, dude, my phone's on silent, man.
Oh no.
But dude, this hoax, there was a lot of crazy things, and like you were saying, man, he did come back out and say, I completely lied about all of this. Albert Pike had no relation to this. He was never meeting with these people. He was never at these parties, you know.
Right.
And then, like you said, the church reached out and wanted to meet this lady and be like, well, who are you? You know, all this other stuff. And then that's when he had to wash his hands of it, you know, and be like, dude, I just faked the whole thing.
Well, yeah, like a lot of these guys that come out with the conspiracy theories or like anti-Masonic, I mean, a lot of them have come out and it's been found that they were blackballed from the lodge,
Yeah.
never got in.
Exactly.
Or,
Or they got kicked out.
Or they-
You know.
It's
And
usually somebody disgruntled.
Yeah, no, and it's, you know, I mean, really to get kicked out of lodge, get kicked out of Freemasonry, you got to do something effed up. You really do.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't have been part of it anyways.
If we haven't gotten kicked out yet.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But no, that's
No.
true. That's what, like, everything
But
I've looked up.
It's why you don't read good reviews on Yelp.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
one goes on a Yelp to say anything positive.
yeah.
Is there?
But that is,
Is there
that is so
reviews for
true,
Yelp
though,
at Masonic
about
Lodge?
There are,
what you said.
Really?
Is most of the people who make up conspiracies, who talk about conspiracies, are either A, somebody who got kicked out or denied entry, and they're like, well, I'm going to get you guys.
Yeah.
Or somebody who believes they're BS.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what almost every single one of these people are.
And most of those
Well,
dudes you look that got kicked out, they're doing the conspiracy gig now, never got past first or second.
Right.
No.
Well, what's
So
the
they never
newest,
saw
what's
real
the
life.
newest
No, they
biggest
never did.
conspiracy that you want
Yeah,
to bring
Chris,
up?
what you want to
Yeah.
Oh,
talk about?
Chris.
This is
Oh,
the
yeah,
newest.
right,
yeah.
No, this is the biggest
Illuminati.
conspiracy that we're dealing
Right,
with right
so-
now as Freemasons in our time.
The biggest conspiracy that I'm interested in is that Freemasonry is connected somehow to the Illuminati, and you know somehow as you progress through and get to the higher degrees of Freemasonry, then you're part of some sort of a secret control of the government,
upper echelon.
societies,
Yeah.
and these Bohemian Garden meetings, and
Bohemian Grove.
or Grove meetings.
I like
They've got
garden
a
better.
giant
It
outfit.
sounds a little
right.
sweeter.
Yeah, no.
You know,
see,
so
but,
I
see,
mean-
but everybody throw like whenever it's something like that, like a group, like a fraternal order or whatever, everyone throws it all into Freemasons. Yeah. I was actually just this past weekend. I went to like this kind of like I don't want to say a flea market. It was an oddity show or whatever.
Yeah.
And when I was there, one of the vendors had a York Rite patch in that she was selling. I was like, I can't leave this here. So I had to buy it. And then I asked her, I'm like, do you have anything else that's Masonic? And she's like, oh yeah, I have all this stuff over here. And I'm like, okay, cool. And she starts showing me. Dude, she ends up showing me a bunch of odd fellow stuff. And I'm like, no, this is not Masonic. And she's like, oh, okay, and people don't, that's what it is.
Dude,
they don't know.
No, they don't.
They don't
If
know.
you can't explain it, then you have to throw something at it.
Yeah.
But a lot of the Illuminati stuff comes from, the Dan Brown books that have come out in the last.
Yeah.
But
Those are such a blessing and a curse to
dude,
Masonry.
the best part about it is when they first came out. I was probably 3-4 years into Masonry, and one of my friends was like, "Hey, can you read this?" And it was a cipher. And I looked at it and I was like, oh yeah, I can read it. Like, give me a sec. So I look at it and it's very similar to one of the ciphers we actually use
The Pigpen
in
cipher,
Masonry.
right?
And it's the one we use in one of the bodies.
The pike or
One of the, you're the head of that organization
I
now.
understand.
So you know the cipher.
That's why I'm being quiet.
So I
right
look
now.
at it and I'm like, oh, that's pretty close. So I read it.
Yeah, but that's not going to start a
And
conspiracy.
I go, oh, this word's misspelled. They should have changed it. And he was like, what are you talking about? What does it say? What does it say? And, part of the conspiracies come from us as Masons because we kind of just play into it. Like, whether it's the goat or, me joking around like, oh, he misspelled the cipher. Or, we don't really answer, or we'll kind of smile and we don't, we kind of play along with it.
There's a certain level of fun we like to have.
Right.
No, you know what? You're right. There is.
But you also have to know the crowd. You're like, if you're talking to a guy who's crazy,
Yeah, no.
you got to know if I joke around.
Is this guy really going to
yeah.
Know your audience,
take
right?
this
Know
guy?
your audience.
Yeah, like I had a buddy. So one of my lodge brothers, who's now moved to Washington, there was a guy that showed up to his house once because he had Masonic plates sitting in his driveway. He lived right in downtown Naperville. He knocks on the door. My buddy opens it and he's like, "Can I help you?" He's like, "Do you know what's going on?" He's like, I don't know.
What's going on, man?
What are you doing here?
You knocked on my door.
Seriously?
And he just he's like, yeah, like you're a Mason, right? And he instantly was like,
Oh, shoot.
you're one of those guys.
I'm about to get shot in my
So
doorway.
this guy keeps badgering him, and he's like kind of a little bit off, and then he finally leaves. And then he comes to his door again a couple days later. He's like, so, you're in the know. And he's like, dude, like I need you to leave. My wife's here. I'm really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I don't have a clue what you're talking about. So then he ends up getting arrested. My buddy ends up having to go to the courthouse. Runs into him at the courthouse. The guy's like, do you know where this courtroom is? He's like, oh yeah, sure, it's right over here. Didn't recognize him. Finds out this guy was arrested in like 5 different cities because he was going up to Masons being like, hey,
Wow.
do you know what's going on? And just being super
Dude, see,
weird.
that's scary.
I
That's
know,
so
that's
scary.
kind
You
of
know?
terrifying.
Yeah.
That's the point though where you can be like, look, if you're not Uber Eats, I'm getting my gun.
Yeah. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
He kept one right next to the door.
Good, as
and
he should.
May or may not have had his hand on it. But he was like,
Pay your
it's
taxes,
stuff
get your
like that.
permits.
Yeah.
And that's how it starts. Is you
Yeah.
get someone that's like, hey, let me tell you about the Masons. I mean, we've had everyone's probably had experience.
Oh,
we had
yeah.
a guy come to our lodge. He was like, I was sitting in lodge practice. This guy walks in the door, didn't know him. I'm like, oh, can I help you? He's like, yeah, he sent me. I was like, what do you?
He sent me.
Who sent you? Did Wes send you?
Lord
Did someone
Vader
else send you?
sent you.
And he's like, no, he sent me. And I'm like, let's go talk outside, man. So we go, and quickly I found out this dude was high on meth. He's
Oh
sitting
my
there,
God.
and same guy that dealt with the other conspiracy guy. We're talking to him, and he's like, so can I join? And we're like, I don't know. Tell me about yourself. And he's like, how much does it cost? And I tell him, he's like, well, if I stop smoking for like a week and a half,
Oh my God.
I could
be able to make
I could
dues.
afford the
Wow.
like $300 petition fee. And I'm like, you either smoke a lot of cigs or it's something else. And we
Yeah.
figure out this guy's high on meth. Wow. And we're like, all right, so who sent you? He's like, you know.
The devil.
He said,
Yeah, right.
and I go, what do you mean? He goes, the guy upstairs. You might know him as the Big J. And I was like, do you mean?
You got a big J?
Do you
You're
mean,
smoking me right
do
now?
you mean Jesus sent you? And he was like, yeah, that guy. And I was like, okay.
Hold on, that's a good story. Jesus is looking out on those petitions.
Yeah. And I was
He sees our numbers dwindling.
And so, but here's the best part. One of the other guys from my lodge comes out and he's like, hey, here's a petition, man. You should totally join it. I was like,
Oh,
and I go,
my
hey,
God.
you should, I'm going to go inside real quick. You should talk to him for 5 minutes and rethink that signature. And he talks to him. He comes inside. He's like, I shouldn't have done that.
Well, Chris, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, so I was saying, but I mean, it's dangerous though, because I mean, did you hear about what happened in Hinsdale? And
We
I think
talked
was
about
in
it on the show a
Westchester?
little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Thanks for keeping up with the show, Chris.
Anyway, but I mean, it's the same
what
thing,
episode
right?
seven?
You know,
Technically,
It's
that
terrifying.
episode,
It's
as
absolutely
of,
Has it aired
terrifying.
yet?
as of
Yeah.
the recording of this episode, it has not come out yet.
All right.
Oh, that
See?
hasn't yet.
There you go. Take it back,
Oh,
Marty.
okay. Yeah, take it back, Marty. You son of a bitch.
I'm up
No,
on
I'm
the
not taking
show.
anything.
Got to be careful.
No, you
Yeah.
do. You really do.
We had one wander into our
Yeah,
lodge.
oh my God, this was insanity. This dude came in, and I wasn't there. Like I wasn't there for it. This is just what I heard. Like everybody, like bizarre.
That's
Our
how
one
it
brother,
starts.
our treasurer, he was freaking out, man. He was freaking out about this guy. He's like, we gotta get this guy out of here. We gotta get this guy out of here. And then everyone starts talking about it. This guy comes in, and he's all like, yeah, man, I need you guys to, I need to join, man. You guys need to accept me and bring me in. You're like, okay, well, talk to us about yourself, you know. And he starts, yeah, man, I got warrants, I got this, I got that. I need you guys to
Expunge them all.
Yeah, get all this expunged, man. You know, I want you to put a hit on my. No, seriously.
Is this
He's
a
like,
couple years ago?
yeah, it was like what? 4?
A couple of years ago to me is that they were in the last 10 right now, so I'm a bad judge for that.
But he said I need you
There
to
was
put a
a
hit out for
guy-
me.
Dude, yeah, he was like, dude, my baby's mom is
Oh
giving me
my
problems.
gosh.
We're like, and I
Is
was
this Hinsdale Lodge or
no, this is
Villa
ours,
Park?
Villa Park.
Park.
Yeah.
There was a guy that claimed he was a member of Villa Park that reached out to me with a really on Facebook
Yes.
a couple years back.
Actually, I got the same invite.
And he was like, I was arrested. I was in the back of my car, and like they arrested me because like the keys were in the ignition. Like, do you know any Masonic lawyers? And I was like,
What? And he claimed to be a member of our lodge.
Yes, there was a guy
Okay, hold on,
going
tell
around.
this
Do you know what
story.
I'm
Yeah, no,
I
we
don't
need to
remember
hear
his
this
name,
story.
but there was about like 4 or 5 brothers that actually know they got this invite, and they were like, "Hey, who's this guy from Villa Park?" I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know who it is.
Yeah.
and it
I
turned
love
out
how
he was some
everybody reached out to us.
wackadoo, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Thanks for the call, guys.
Yeah, thanks for the call, guys.
I called a past master of Villa Park that you may know.
Okay.
His name is Omar Ali.
Okay.
Good luck in California. We love you.
Yeah, good luck,
Yeah.
Omar.
San
Omar, good
Francisco.
luck.
So sad. Yeah.
And I was like, "What's up with this guy?" And he's like, "Yeah, don't talk to that guy."
Oh, so this guy was
Oh,
before
actually,
us.
I know who it was.
This
I know
is-
who
this
it
is
was.
before
This was
us.
last
I know the
year,
guy.
right? Last
Yeah.
year.
No, this was like
When I
a
first
couple years back.
When I first joined, I got a Facebook message from just some guy from Crete Lodge. Yeah, can you help a brother out? I need money. Are you gonna help me? Like, call your worshipful master.
Yeah, get your
Wait,
yeah,
that's all-
well,
that-
you know, we're
that's all
supposed
you
to
have to do?
we're supposed to, you know, help each other and everything. Mike, you know, this and that, and no, dude.
Sees all those fancy.
And he
silver
wouldn't
coats.
leave me alone, so I had to report him.
Well, I mean, along those lines, I mean, I was in downtown Chicago once. I had a Masonic hat on, and there was this guy standing on the street. He had a Masonic hat on. He's like, "Hey, you should give me some money." And I was like,
What?
"Oh yeah?" I'm like, so I talked to
Be like,
him.
"Here
I'm
you
like,
go."
"So what lodge are you from?" And he's like, and I was like,
Don't you know?
name,
You didn't pay
number,
his
Everybody
dues
knows.
or something.
anything. Couldn't, you know, and he couldn't come up with a name. And I was like, "So tell me about this hat." And he was like, "Oh, I'm a Mason." And I'm like, "Yeah, what lodge are you from?" And finally he comes up with some just ridiculous name. And I was like, "All right, bud. Like,
man.
I would
Have a good
appreciate
day.
it if you wouldn't wear the hat." But, I mean, that goes
You should have
back
bought
to,
the hat off in real talk, though.
Yeah.
I'll give you $20, you know, wear that hat.
Well, there's been a guy in the news lately.
The guy with the sweatshirt that had
yeah,
the-
he's got the
Yeah.
big
The
gold square
giant-
compass.
yeah.
Oh yeah, the dude trying to rob like people or whatever, and he's like got his mugshot with a big square and compass.
And a buddy of mine called me.
Great advertising.
God,
A buddy
dude,
of mine
that's
called
so
me
terrible.
because he did work for somebody,
And on his business card, he's got the square and compass.
You want to know the worst part about
And
that
now
guy?
he can't get a hold of him. And he's calling me to see if I can do something. Like, dude,
That guy's regular.
That guy was regular?
Yeah.
No, stop.
No, PHA had to claim him, and they're putting out a thing that he's going to be out soon.
Oh.
But PHA publicly claimed him.
That sucks.
R.I.P. man. Sorry about that.
I'm sorry.
But no, but it's actually funny because we talk about these conspiracy theories,
Trump.
and they really fuel the worst part of humanity to like hate us for the craziest reasons.
But that's
Plus
because,
fear. It brings
that's
out the
because
fear in
it's easy,
them, right?
I mean, it's with any culture, with anything else. You find some group that's not going to say it's not us or it's not, and they don't really fight back, right?
No.
And we don't really respond because we
Why
just kind of look at it and we're like,
Well,
That's
here's
funny.
the issue with Masonry, and here's where I've seen it sometimes. And we'll get back to this because we got to actually go to break in a second.
No, finish it. Yeah.
But my theory is we have the privilege on being on this great island by ourselves where we don't feel the need to let the world know what we're
Right,
doing.
exactly.
And it's actually hampered us. Because right now, the six that are sitting here, we're all thick as thieves. We can all call each other for anything we'd ever need.
Yeah.
And we have this great thing with each other.
That's some money.
Chris, real talk.
hold on, let me pull out my Velcro wallet.
You legit walked in this room and you were literally hurting. You're looking at about 8 people you know.
100%, no questions. Yeah.
And we've actually used that to the point where we're like, you know what? Don't worry about what they're saying because we got this great thing here they don't even know about, and it's actually hurt us. But we'll be
People think of it as though, they're hiding something. There's something that they don't want us to see. Maybe we just don't have anything that you should see.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a pretty bold idea.
so,
Yeah.
but with that, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back. And we're back. We're still talking about conspiracies, and one I like to talk about is, do we control the United States, or did we as Freemasons make the United States? Thank you, Jamie.
Oh,
Appreciate it.
you know what, man? God,
Yes, we did.
I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. I know exactly what you're talking about. I wish I knew more. I was more versed on this subject because I feel like I'm not gonna be able to contribute that much to this, but I would like to know thoughts.
Well, I mean, you look at it, you got the Culper spies, right? You guys familiar with the Culper spies?
Yes,
So
No,
George Washington,
George
Right.
Washington spies.
he had this group called the Culper spies that no one really knew about for a while, and then eventually, it like probably 10 years ago, they finally come out, the Culper spies, and it was this ring that essentially they pass on messages so that way different generals would have information on the British.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people involved, most of them Masons. And sure, did the Masons create the United States?
I like to say.
I would say yes and no. I would say a lot of the values that we have as Masons
we're not the only ones that had a hand.
kind
in
of
it.
correlate with democracy, and I mean, you look at the judicial system.
Start with
Constitution.
the Regis poem from the 1300s and work up.
Right.
Yeah.
You get you get
And the
three-
constitutions of Freemasonry and how that affected the constitutions of America.
Checks and balances.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of just overlap, right? And a lot of correlation of like, we think everyone should have their own freedoms and they should be able
Right.
to do what they want and believe what they want. But then you come together and, you're very similar in a lot of ways, even though you're very different. Like, one of the coolest things I ever saw as a Mason was I was sitting in the junior warden's chair and I'm watching an obligation. The master was Jewish and we had 3 guys being obligated. One of them was being obligated on the Veda, one was being obligated on the Quran, and one was being obligated on the Bible. And
That's
I'm like,
awesome.
Yeah.
You got 4 guys of 4 different faiths, all being obligated in Masonry at the same time. And I was like, this is like the coolest thing ever. Like, where are you going to see all these books open at the same time?
Exactly.
And
All
With the
these
same
faiths
reverence.
being
With the
represented.
same reverence.
And everyone was like, we're all brothers.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
it's
And that's the beauty of it. And most people will never see that beauty because they're scared or they believe the lies that have been spread by stupid people.
Yeah.
But that's actually funny that you said that. That's one of like my favorite stories of when I got raised. When I was raised, I had a Jewish guy beside me and I had a Muslim beside me, and I'm Catholic. You know, like that right there, man. That's something.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, back in the day, that wouldn't have happened. You know, like, but we are brothers, and that's the big picture that people don't I don't want to say focus on, but like, you know, they don't get. You know, is we take everybody, we accept everyone. It doesn't matter what your religion is, what your politics are, you know, what skin color
Everybody
you
meets
are.
on the level, right?
Exactly, brother. We all meet on the level.
And that's one thing, like, I don't know if you guys have ever been to a Prince Hall Lodge or not, but I go to the Prince Hall Lodge by me every once in a while, and the coolest thing is when they close, the master and the wardens all come down to the floor, so everyone's on the same level.
Well, that's an FAM
And
thing.
then
I didn't know
close.
that.
Right, which is an F and AM
I've seen
thing
it done here
versus
in
an
Illinois.
F&M.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there, and they all come, but then everyone else kind of walks in. If they're in a back row, they come out to the front row, and they create this square on the floor. So they're on the level, they're on the square, and then they close. And I'm like,
That's
super cool.
I think it'd be better if they just spelled Francis. I like the idea that, you know, the Masons did found this country because we're the melting pot. So where did they get the melting pot idea from? From Freemasonry. Because we're like, okay, you believe in a higher power, you can be part of us. And how did we get from that point to where we exclude certain people because of this, that,
Well,
and the other?
here's the thing. Here's what we got to remember. One thing too: our Grand Lodges, and this is due respect to all of our leadership. They do not speak for Masonic ideology from the time. They don't speak for the literature. They're current corporate entities from the last couple hundred years that have kind of put us into form. But realistically, every idea Masonry fights for, the reason we're in that lodge is from time immemorial, since men crawled out of caves. I'll tell people, when they ask me what's the second degree about, it's a celebration of man and all of his liberty, where he finally used his mind and his hands together and built something great.
It's my favorite degree of the 3 original degrees.
It was a weird degree for me. When I very first came in, I kind of thought the second degree was like, I felt like it needed a little more explanation, because I'm like, you're learning so much here that it's easy to kind of pass it off. Yeah, because you're like, it's so much. You're like, well, you pick up some main things, and like you're saying, you understand the different concepts of the things that you're learning through the degree, but implementing that to your life and translating that into what.
But that's the thing I love about Freemasonry. The degrees are meant to be like, we're going to give you this much. We want you to go home, do a little research, and then kind of make it your own. Like, all of us have had different experiences on how we've gone through degrees, our different Masonic paths, and all of it's just, we're going to give you this little bit, maybe a little bit more, but we want you to research it if you go home, figure it out what it's meant to be. And that's kind of my struggle right now with the Scottish Rite, is they're changing the degrees to more like, we're going to tell you all of this stuff versus we're going to tell you a good amount, but we want you to do a little research, because I know you've got a good Masonic library.
Yeah.
And you probably went home and you're like, hold on, let me.
Oh, dude,
let me look
I
this
got
up.
5
Let me
books
look
out.
this up.
I'm reading Pike's. I'm reading the next translation. I'm reading and then I'm going through it. I'm like, oh wait, I'm in the northern jurisdiction.
And then, and then you get your 3rd degree, and they give you your Masonic Bible, and it's like, oh, in the first 60 pages, there's all random stuff in there.
Yeah, the heirloom Bible.
Yeah. And you start looking through it, and you're like, oh, that makes more sense. But then if you look at, what is it, New Orleans, like Germania Lodge number 1.
But you did something really interesting right there. When you find it yourself, you're like, oh, wow.
That's part of the process.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
And
It
then
keeps the
it
spark
takes
going.
on
Whatever you mean, the more times you see
in a
it,
degree,
right?
you're not going to have that same spark of, oh, wow, something you discovered on your own.
But like when you look at other jurisdictions, other lodges, and you like, I don't know if you guys have visited other states and seen how they've done degrees. Yeah. And when you look at them, you're like, that's a little bit different. But when I saw Germania Lodge do the 3rd degree, they came up to Chicago and did it. And it was like, it was longer, and there was more to it. And I was like, oh, that makes more sense now, because some of our ritual has been truncated, it's been rewritten, and you're like,
That's on AFAM or FAM.
right. And when you look at the ritual, you're like, there should have been a little bit something else. And then you're like,
That kind of stinks that we're missing
that
something.
makes more sense. But
I'm
then
just
you read
afraid
the
if I
ritual.
go to another state that I'm going to have to go through all the dugars and signs just because I say, yes, worshipful.
But I mean, But that's the cool thing. Like everyone knows all the basic grips, the words, the signs, and everything. So you can go anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's that little bit of difference that
Yeah.
makes
Right.
everyone a little bit unique.
But
You do
see,
45,
but-
you don't do 90.
But everyone
I
has
wanna
good
go where it
value.
goes
Like
30.
a couple of dudes I'm intending for right now, I'm using Grand Lodge of Ohio stuff that I got my hands on just because I thought it was written well.
Right. Like I do.
That's cool.
Is it if it's written well and it coincides with what we're doing, but we you iterate this isn't the ritual, but it's a good explanation.
Well, okay, you remember
That's not wrong.
when Kevin Wheeler was here a few weeks ago and we talked about Southern versus Northern jurisdiction?
He's been here for 2 more weeks and he's out there.
Let's not talk about Kevin Wheeler being over there right now. But what I'm saying is there's some things that FAM does that does it right. There's some things that FAM does that does it right. I think people need to be exposed to all of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And
That's the journey.
yeah.
That is.
But I mean, like,
Chris,
We all earned the right to travel.
Yeah.
You know, and
Chris,
that's
I'm
that's
sure
what we
there's
should
certain
do.
things that you noticed when you first got initiated that have changed a lot for years. You're probably seeing the degree in a whole other light now in a lot of ways, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm a 4-year Mason, and when you go through the degrees, I mean, obviously there's so much that's going on that you don't even really realize what's happening at the time until you go back, do your own research, and see the different degrees, even different lodges. I mean, just seeing it in a different light brings on more light, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm glad our studio audience has been cheering for us.
I know.
I mean, even different lodges change. Like when I first joined Masonry, one of the first lodges I visited was Villa Park, and I was sitting there looking
that was
around.
you?
too.
That was you?
Dude, it was before you were a Mason, and I'm looking around, and I was like, man, if I joined this lodge, I don't think I'd be terribly active, because it was a bunch of guys that were well older than I was, and now, I mean, there's a bunch of younger guys that are just kind of reinvigorating it, and it's more every lodge kind of goes.
But you feel that resurgence, and what's cool is Masonry's having that resurgence. And I'm not going to jump ahead because we got to record another episode in like 10 minutes. It's going to come out 2 weeks after
Yeah,
this
no,
one.
2 weeks we're recording.
Yeah, 2 weeks we're gonna
Oh,
record.
wait.
2 weeks,
Yeah, these are all live. and
I
stuff.
might come back with the bagpipes.
You might.
He might.
You
That'd
won't
be
show
cool.
up in
You know
2
what?
weeks with
If you show up in
bagpipes?
2 weeks with bagpipes, that would be so cool.
I am guessing that we're going to have a surprise the next episode, maybe have more guests or
You know what? I think that'd be awesome. Dude, that's great. But you know
Are
what?
there any of the guests I'm looking at right now?
No, there's too many. There is way too
I
many.
can't see
No, you
that
got to
far.
go like this though when you look at them.
I see about 45 of our friends and well-wishers doing their best to be quiet. We record this nonsense.
We are number
4,500 of them out there.
Yeah, 45. Wait, no, like the Bozo show. A cast of thousands.
Like, man,
And it was like 20
thousands of
people.
people out here. Everyone say hi.
Hey, as we're kind of winding down this episode, Chris, bring us home from all the conspiracies and theories you've heard in Masonry, the crazy stuff you've been approached with, to what you know as the excellent high priest of our Royal Arch chapter.
Take us down that.
Take us down, baby.
What?
Yeah, you're
I
on
don't
the spot
know.
now.
I know.
All the
That's
different
a spot.
conspiracies.
Don't worry about
I don't know.
That's terrible. You're
Yeah,
terrible.
that's great.
You're terrible. You just put him on the spot like
it.
that.
Put 'em on the
And
spot.
there's no conspiracies.
There are no conspiracies. The true conspiracy is that there is no conspiracy. Okay.
So
Well,
as-
okay, there's some truth to that.
the
though.
thing I love is, so do you guys know Jim Patton?
Yes, sir.
So he always jokes around with me because he was in a different line in the Scottish Rite, and I'm an officer over there, and he's like, "Oh, you're one of those Oriental conspiracy guys, as opposed to Oriental consistory." And it's
Why
funny.
did they change it to consistory?
It's always Oriental
Rotisserie?
conspiracy, according to Jim Patton. But I could go for some
Rotisserie
rotisserie chicken.
conspiracy.
Could do right now. I'm not even gonna lie.
All right, go ahead.
But yeah, like, I'd say most of the conspiracies are made up, or someone was disgruntled and they're like, you know what? I'm just going to say this is what's wrong with these guys because they didn't want me for some reason, and just kind of try to
Yeah, you're
shove
gonna
it out.
talk shit because they didn't like you or you weren't accepted, and to make yourself look better and puff up. Oh, well, I'm gonna make up a bunch of shit about these guys.
But I mean, if you look at the history of most lodges and you look at the minutes, there were a lot of guys that were blackballed, and then they just stopped. and they're like, "Oh, we're just going to invite everyone in because they needed numbers, and now you've got a bunch of people."
Numbers have
running.
never helped Masonry.
I'm worried about.
And
I'm
that's
worried
kinda
about
where I'm
the
like, I would
numbers
rather
compared to
have
quality.
like, just
Yeah.
quality.
Quality
I would
guys.
rather have quality guys.
Yeah.
Than
Yeah.
a bunch of guys, and
Yeah, exactly.
everyone's like, "Oh, we need guys coming in the front door." No one's
No,
looking
we
at
need
everyone walking
lodges
out
to
the back.
grow.
Yeah.
We need lodges to
Earlier in the
really
show, it
shrink
sounded
to
like you
happen.
wanted guys coming in the back door.
Well, I know you're into
Hold on.
some of those gay sex parties, but-
Before we get the backdoor talk, guys, I want to do something we've never done on this show. Can I do it real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
No, there's, joke. Yeah. There's a member of this crew that you never get to see that does more than anybody that can illustrate my point on Masonic conspiracies better than everybody. Producer David Jones, come on down.
So what am I talking about?
Dave, you've told me a story that I've always found hilarious.
Which one?
Well, all of them, but what I want to focus on while you're here. So you joined Masonry.
Yep.
You went to your first meeting at Grove Lodge.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. so I got raised down in Decatur at a Grandmasters Festival. And I kept hearing all this crazy stuff and about how the Masons are controlling the world and they set the gas prices and all this kind of stuff.
We need
And
to
so
lower
I'm
'em.
going to this meeting.
Call up that lodge and tell them we need gas prices to go down.
And the
Big Blue.
very first meeting I went to was at Grove Lodge. And they spent probably 2 hours arguing whether they needed a new soup well in the kitchen or not. And it was at that moment
That is Freemasonry.
that I was like,
Pop.
no, they're not setting the gas price. They can't even decide what to have for dinner.
Yeah.
Dave, after the end of 2 hours, did they ever get a new soup thing?
I have no idea.
No, they just use 2 pots.
Hold on, with that said,
Don't ever have a vote on what kind of pizza you're going to eat because you'll never.
Oh my
get
God.
the meeting
Never
over with.
no, you
but
won't.
with that real quick, I think we need to get to the shout-outs.
And who do we have a shout out today?
My first shout-out, Dave, he does so much on this show.
Thank
You know what?
Dave.
No, you know what? No,
There
it's
couldn't
Dave.
there be a
There,
show
yeah, there would
without
not be a
Dave.
show without
Yeah.
you, Dave.
Yeah,
there really wouldn't.
This one goes out to
If it
Dave.
weren't for Dave, we wouldn't be as good as we are.
Thank you,
Dave.
Dave.
Yeah.
There to you.
But also shout out to whoever keeps putting unlikes in our videos. I'm looking at you right now. I am part
Oh, yeah.
Keep hating.
Yeah, that one unlike, dude. God
We'll
bless
turn
you.
you eventually.
God bless you.
Yeah. And I have a feeling who you are.
all at the same time.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, brothers.
Use a lemon? Lime? Use it.
Yeah.
Lime.
You want to use mine?
No.
Okay.
Brethren, join us in 2 weeks.
Hey, thank you,
Season
guys.
finale.
Yeah, season finale in 2
next
weeks.
episode.
We'll explain more in that episode, but we will be doing a live grotto party at Grand Lodge October 5th, Friday.
That'll be our season 2 premiere.
Yep.
Everybody out there, get out of your mom's basement. Stop reading the conspiracy forums on Reddit.
Yep. No.
Don't storm Area 51. Just keep watching us.
I kind of hope everyone storms Area 51.
I mean, if there's
weed out
3 million
Listeners,
people,
we don't want them all to die. So, thanks for watching, and we'll be back.
thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
That was good, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Good.